to Live Coding with Matt Groves. This is episode 54, and we're going to do some more Symfony today, some more PHP, and maybe we're going to bring in some Couchbase today. That's kind of my goal. Is yesterday, or last stream anyway, we got started up and running with Symfony and learned the basics of getting up and running with that. So I thought we'd tackle a little more complex issue, bringing in a third-party library to do some database access. And of course, Couchbase is my database of choice, so I thought we'd give that a shot. I've only used the Couchbase PHP SDK like once or twice in the past, so I'm going to be a little rusty on getting this up and running. Plus I'm on Windows, which, Symfony seems to be the exception. A lot of times documentation is very much geared towards Linux or Mac users, and Windows users are going to have to figure it out on their own. But we'll see how that goes today. All right, so that's what we're going to get into. And of course, if you have any questions or want to see something else or want to go down a different rabbit hole, absolutely welcome to do that. All right, and that's kind of the motto here, is the only stupid question is the one you don't ask. There are no stupid questions in this channel. No matter how basic you think it is or how silly you think it is, I want you to ask it anyway. That's the way we can get interesting discussions going. We can learn some new stuff, and chances are your question is one that lots of other people have as well, and maybe they're just too nervous or too busy to ask. So ask the question. Ask away. There is no obligation to you beyond asking the question. I will take it from there. It's a safe place to ask questions. All right, so let's get some plugs out of the way. Team Live Coders. It's my Twitch team. We're all live coders. Here we go. A lot of Lux. Got quite a following going these days. Doing some cool stuff with game dev. InstaFluff, also very cool. He's a new MVP, so I think we're going to have to probably raid InstaFluff end of today's session if he's still streaming, and congratulate him on his MVP. And more people here as well. So if you're looking for some live coding on Twitch, some streaming, some interactive coding sessions, definitely start here, twitch.tv/live-coders. My other plug, as always, is Awesome Developers Streaming List. GitHub/BNB/Awesome Developer Streams. Still hasn't been updated in a while. But if you're a streamer or you're getting into code streaming, submit your account here. I'll submit a link to where you stream. Doesn't have to be Twitch. It could be YouTube or Facebook or whatever else. And then just say a little note about what you stream about. So if it's like Steve Smith here, Dallas, he's doing a lot of C# and ASP.NET Core, of course, and architecture. And if it's your boy Matt Groves, then it's going to be a lot of databases, backend stuff, SQL, NoSQL, and of course .NET, C#, ASP.NET to go with him. So this is a good place to start as well. If you're looking for a topic, just hit Control F in your browser and search for a keyword or a language or whatever you want to learn. So we're going to come back to here later, see what InstaFluff's up to, give him a little raid, and congratulate him on being an MVP. Okay, what else? Yes, you can check out old episodes, bit.ly/GrovesTube, and I have fair warning, this may change soon. This may go on to an official Couchbase YouTube channel. Still got to figure that stuff out. I have some events coming up, but after those events, I'm probably going to sit down and try to figure out the logistics of this, maybe use Restreamio or something like that again, like I used to. TwitchBot is off, unfortunately. This issue is just killing me. So I just took it took it down from Azure completely because I'm paying money for something that doesn't work. And I reinstalled Visual Studio yesterday and today, and still getting the same issue. So I really don't know at this point, other than just blowing away Windows and starting over with Windows, which I've been kind of meaning to do anyway for a while. So that's going to be a long-term thing probably. Sorry about that. Okay. Upcoming events. Yes, Developer Week is next week. So if you're in the Bay Area, Developer Week is here. It's upon us. I'm going to be here at the Couchbase booth for the 13th and 14th, and I'll be giving a 25-minute short sponsored presentation as well about SQL and NoSQL. So if you're interested, come by, check it out, say hi. Developer Week if you're in the Bay Area, great event. JetBrains webinar will be the 13th. I was just preparing, tweaking some slides and practicing for this today. This will be an online webinar, free, and it's February 13th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. That'll be 7 a.m. my time, because I'll be in the West Coast for Developer Week. But it's a free webinar. I'm pretty sure it's free. And so you can sign up there and check that out. And I assume there'll be a recording available afterwards. I don't know for sure. DevNexus will be the week after that. That's in Atlanta. That's sort of a Java-leaning conference, but not exclusively Java. Lots of great stuff here. DevNexus.com. Definitely want to check that out. And I'll be at the Couchbase booth there. No speaking as far as I know, but I'll be at the Couchbase booth. It is Ignite, Matt, not Ignore. Oh, whoops. Microsoft Ignite. Thank you, Bhaskar, and good to see you. That is a weird typo, Ignite and Ignore. It might be that Notepad++ kind of does some completion for me. So, yes, Microsoft Ignite. I'll be there as well. I don't remember the dates for that, but I need to put that in my list somewhere, because that's coming up too. I think that's right before Codestock, because it'll be Microsoft Ignite in Chicago and then Codestock back to back. But anywho, devnexus.com is what I'm promoting today. Go check it out. Sign up. Sales for tickets might be closed. I'm not sure. It looks like the register here button is still working. So the late passes are still available. There you go. This is the Georgia World Congress Center. It's a really cool venue if you've never been before. Definitely want to check this out. It does say Java Platform Conference, but there is a lot of stuff there beyond just Java. There is all kinds of people and developers and walks of life. So definitely worth checking out. Okay, so today we're going to get back into some Symfony, some PHP. Just a quick review of where we were last time. This is how far we got with Symfony. I did a Symfony install with the command line that sort of created this shell. So I installed the Symfony command line, or the Symfony application, command line application, I don't know, which, hey, you will definitely fly around half of Earth to get there. Well, so where are you? Rhyme? I'm going to call you Rhymer. How's that? Where are you, Rhymer? I assume you're not in the Western Hemisphere, but any of these events look interesting to you. These are all in the Western Hemisphere. You're in Central Europe. Okay. I won't be in Central Europe anytime soon, as far as I know. But my colleague, Dennis Rosa, will be there. So he's got accepted to speak at a few major conferences over there. So if you happen to see Dennis Rosa at a conference, say hi. Tell him Matt says hi as well. You will also find NG-Alt at DevNexus this time. NG-Alt, is that some sort of Angular user group or something? Yeah, they typically host different sort of meetups and stuff at DevNexus. Sometimes it's like the WIT or like a WIT breakfast or Code Like a Girl breakfast, things like that. So NG-Alt seems like they're going to host some sort of event there at DevNexus. So if you're into Angular, there you go. Like I was saying, it's Java conference, but Angular is something that a lot of Java developers use as well. Okay, so we're reviewing here. Symfony. Symfony command line created most of these files for me. I created this lucky controller. I was following the tutorial, and instead of putting in a route in this, where was this? There's a routes file somewhere. I don't remember where it is. Well, I thought there was a routes file somewhere. Anywho, maybe it's in config. Yeah. So instead of putting our routes in this, in this YAML file, what I can do instead is I can use this notation here, which I learned yesterday, that /** is notation syntax, as opposed to /*, which is comment syntax. So this is a PHP notation, and this will tell Symfony which route to use, which URL basically, to use to direct to this function, this method, this controller action. And then we'll select a random number and pass that to this twig template, which is a markup template that Symfony uses. And kind of like you'd see Razor or you'd see Blade and Laravel, and we'd put that in there. So today I thought, well, that's great. So I've got some really good stuff going here with Symfony. Couple things I'm interested in exploring, and one is, I assume this is not the way it is in Symfony either, but maybe it is. With these controllers, I try to keep them. Here's a question. By the way, why do you use Visual Studio, not Phpstorm? I thought about doing that today as well. I haven't used Phpstorm in a while. I just don't have it installed. I do have a license for it, so I could bring in Phpstorm. I used Phpstorm a lot back in my PHP days. That was my go-to IDE for PHP. It was really, really good. So we might switch to that today. I don't know. We'll see how things go. Maybe I'll do it next time. Which reminds me, that JetBrains tutorial, that JetBrains session, I plan to be using Writer for that one. I've done some work with Writer there, which is another product from JetBrains. Because I'm usually, Visual Studio and ReSharper guy. But I thought, well, heck, I've been wanting to use Writer for a while and give it a shot. So I plan to use Writer for that whole webinar. And so far, it's been a pretty easy transition for me. So definitely, I like JetBrains stuff. So nothing against them or Phpstorm. Just don't happen to have it installed. Okay. So a couple things I wanted to try. One is, with controllers, this could get really out of hand. This is really simple, just get random number and pass it to a template. But we could put a lot more logic in here, and this could end up being a very large, big stack of code like this. And I don't really want that because, well, for one, it sort of means that we're going to have a big sort of spaghetti mess in here potentially. Two, it's a little more difficult to write tests against that instead of splitting things out into their own responsibility. And three, I don't really want, this is kind of UI level code. I don't really want data access or any other sort of, calling to other services. I don't want that kind of access in the controller. So I'd be curious to see how that works with Symfony. Do I create another class? I assume just another class somewhere and inject it into a constructor, just like I would in C# or .NET, and use that in here. So I want to try to figure out where I set up that kind of injection stuff in Symfony, or if there's some other way that PHP does it, because PHP does have a much different type system than say C# or Java. So maybe there's a better way to go about it in PHP. So I want to get into that. I also want to get into just working with the Couchbase SDK, and I can probably do that right here in the controller, as far as I know. And then abstract it into a separate class. So what I've got here is, well, I guess I closed the windows already, but scope to model or repository or package or something totally custom. Scope to model or repository or package. So the one thing about Symfony, and this is something that I'll have to deal with, I suppose, at some point, is probably the Symfony way of doing things is to use the built-in ORM, which is called Doctrine, I believe. And an ORM is great for relational databases. Couchbase is not relational. So, there still might be some benefits of using an ORM. Doctrine, I don't think, has any Couchbase support, as far as I know. But with a document database, you don't necessarily need an ORM as much as you do with a relational database. So it might be okay just to go directly to the Couchbase SDK and skip using Doctrine, which, unlike, say, Cake PHP or even Laravel, I think the Doctrine ORM is completely separate. So it's like a separate module. AJ 2017, how goes it with you? I'm doing pretty great. I'm doing some PHP this week. I got a PHP conference coming up later this year, so I figured I would try to shake off the rust a little bit. Oh, you're doing great. That's great to hear. Doctrine is standalone. Yep, that sounds right. So that's one nice thing about Symfony is that it's very, very modular. Like it's not as opinionated as, say, Ruby on Rails, for instance. So I kind of like that. That there is a Symfony way, but there's a lot of options for you out there. So I'm not going to use Doctrine today. If I knew there was a Couchbase Doctrine plugin, I might try that out, but I don't think that exists, at least not yet. So we're going to see what I can do with Couchbase here in PHP. So this is where I get you know, I've done this a little bit in the past, but this is something that's been difficult for me to do. So the Couchbase official docs, I'm in 3.0. I want to stick to 2.6 since I think the PHP 3.0 is still in beta. Is that, okay, we got installing on Linux. So I'm not on Linux, I'm actually running on Windows. Here's the Mac OS, not on Mac OS. Here's the Windows one. So this suggests using a pre-built binary or getting it from Peckle. Not by using Peckle, I guess, but by just going to the Peckle website. Is that how you say it? I think it's Peckle, but I think they have a pickle for a logo, so maybe they pronounce it pickle. I don't know why the Peckle site's taking so long, but there's a Couchbase archives as well, so I could just download the file here. On Linux-like systems, on Windows. Okay, so we've got kind of we're going to go with this page here. So when using Microsoft Windows, instead of using Peckle, so it's basically saying don't use Peckle with Windows is what I'm taking away from this. Download a pre-built binary matching your environment. So Peckle is the one I was thinking of last time on Tuesday. Can it be installed via Composer? Yeah, I don't think so, Reimer. I think I looked into this too, and I was looking for Composer, like browse packages, and I saw some Couchbase packages on here, but none of them were like the Couchbase SDK. So I don't think it's on Composer, at least not available just yet. So I mean, these might be areas that we definitely need to improve. Couchbase need to improve. But I'm just going to follow the directions for now. I don't want to download the source and build it directly. I don't need to do that. So PHP. Okay. So let's take a look here at PHP Ini. I wanted to see which version of PHP I have. 7.4.1. Okay. So I don't know what VC15 NTS means. Or ZTS. What's the difference between NTS and ZTS? Oh, thread safe and non-thread safe. Yes, I remember seeing this before. I think I'm just going to go with the non-thread safe one. I don't know what real difference is there. Okay, we'll download that here. I will open that one up. Okay. Now once the PHP SDK has been installed, so it kind of skipped over what I do to actually install this. So just looking at the contents here, I guess I copy this into a PHP directory, which is an xampp, right? Maybe. C xampp. All right, and there's PHP. And I guess there's a lib folder. Is that where I put it or no? Do I just put it right here in the PHP root? The C SQLite seems like that might make sense. But I've got so I've got a lib Couchbase DLL and I've got PHP Couchbase DLL. I think one of these is actually the C SDK, and one of them is a wrapper for the C SDK. So that's kind of the way that this works with the Couchbase PHP driver. So let me just do a quick search here. See where these are. Oh, extension. Okay. There's lots of PHP files here. So maybe I just copy and paste this right into here. I don't know. Okay, and then over here, do I just copy and paste it here in the root? I'm just trying to get an idea of where this might go. And it's kind of kind of a shame that the documentation here doesn't really tell me. Where to put those files. Maybe PHP developers just know this stuff, but yo, diggity, it's Calvin Allen. What's up, Calvin? Thanks for hanging out with us again and using the old get around the company firewall trick to hang out with us. Good to see you. Do you know anything about where to put PHP files, PHP libraries? I think I figured out the correct place for PHP_Couchbase. It goes in this extension folder. No clue, you said. So I don't know where to put this or even this, package.xml. Where does that even go? I see reference to that. Well, I'm just gonna guess and drop it right here in the root and see what happens. Okay. So next I've got to, once I've done that, I've got to edit my Php Ini file, which is back there in the examp folder. php.ini. There it is. And I've got to put this in here, extension equals, specifying the extension to be loaded. It should be in the PHP section. Well, the whole thing's a PHP section. Okay. All right. Are there any other... Is there an area in here somewhere where I would say extension equals? Dynamic extensions. Okay. Here's a bunch. Ah, the old PHP Ini. That's right. Okay. I don't know. Just throw it in here, I guess. Extension equals PHP Couchbase.dll, which looks different from the rest of these because they're not really given a DLL file. Any DLL files in this whole thing? Oh, here we go. Module settings. Okay, sure, why not? Let's put it there. And if the IG binary extension is available at the time, okay, fine. All right. I thought I remember seeing something about JSON, but I don't know. That seems familiar. I remember having to do something like that from MySQL back in the day. In my experience, MySQL kind of comes with PHP, but I do remember having to do this for other databases, having to put in DLL files and things like that. Of course, this was all pre-Composer time for me. I don't know if Composer can do this stuff or what. I assume it can. All right, so I've done that. I'm sorry. Now, one thing I can also do is, let me just try something here. In my Lucky controller, I'm going to do a route /php info. And don't do this in production because it might not even work. But if I just say echo PHP info, do I need to echo that? I don't know. Okay, and then my thought is that this will show up as an extension of PHP info. Let's see what happens. Okay. I don't see any Couchbase showing up here, but there's MySQL I, yeah. PDO, MySQL, all that kind of stuff. I might have to restart Symfony to reload all those, to reload the PHP Ini. Yeah, I'm still not seeing anything like Couchbase show up in here. I'm getting an error. That's fine. I didn't add a return statement. Changes like this definitely need restart. Yeah, so I definitely did a restart, and I'm not seeing any Couchbase showing up here in PHP info. I don't know if it's supposed to or not. But I'm not seeing anything. Or maybe Pear was what I was thinking of. Not Peckle, but Pear. I don't know. All right, well, let's see. Let's go back here to this page here. Okay, extension equals hello Couchbase. So this is hello PHP example. So I could potentially just run this outside of Symfony, right? Hey Matt, how are you doing? Hey Haruhame, haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back, Haruhame. I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing better now that you're here. All right, let's try, I don't know, let's just try a, just run this, just a new file like hello Couchbase. Just want to make sure I have this extensions and stuff written down. So, do I have any Couchbase running? That might be a good thing to check. Looks like I do not. So I'll have to start a Docker image. Same color icon. The little Twitch Prime crown, is that what you're talking about? All right, Docker start db650 enterprise. That should work. What have I been up to the last few weeks? Oh, you know, this and that. Doing some streaming, doing some blogging. What have you been up to? Doing some event planning, some presentation preparations, all that kind of stuff. All right, yeah, let's add a new bucket. Hello PHP. So over here, I'll call my bucket hello PHP. And my username is administrator. My password is password. That's fine. That should all work. King Arthur. Okay, I don't know what else I'm going to do, but what I want to do here is I'm just going to run it from the command line. cd source controller. And I try to get in touch with MVC and Entity Framework stuff, but we won't become close friends. Can I just do this? Hello Couchbase. Okay, unable to load dynamic library. Specified module could not be found. What in the world? PHP underscore PHP underscore Couchbase .dll. That's weird. So it's saying it couldn't find it, but I know it's definitely there. Right? Yeah, PHP Couchbase is right there. Sorry. So why isn't it finding it? Specified module could not be found. Well, I guess I could Google that error message. See if there's a common issue that would cause this. Let's see. Same goes for yep. On Windows, I solve these kinds of problems by adding the path specified in extension dir to the path system variable. Check your extension dir. It has to point to the correct directory. I'm pretty sure it does. Extension dir. C examp php ext. Yeah. Seems right to me. Seems like we're in the right place. I've got the file in the right place. But I'm getting an error. Dynamic library. What if, I mean, the only other thing I can think of is I put this lib Couchbase in here. Does that need to go somewhere else? Does that need to go in the extensions folder? Doesn't really seem to fit the pattern, but let's try it. Nope. Okay, let's go back to the docs here, see what I missed. Because the extension depends on the C library, the shared object has to be accessible to the PHP process when loading the extension. On Unix-like systems, no additional steps are necessary. For Windows, it must be copied into either location from the path for the PHP executable or into a directory with like executables. Okay. Well, there's something about JSON here as well. This is what I was thinking about. JSON.so? I don't remember seeing anything in here about that. Well, question, and do you really need it? Well, MVC and Entity Framework? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about this DLL file? Or JSON? Couchbase. And do I really need Couchbase? I really want to use Couchbase, yes, but I'm trying to figure out the lib Couchbase. I assume this is the C library. But I mean, that is the very question that I'm guessing a lot of developers would be asking themselves. They come to this page and they run into problems. Do I really need to use Couchbase? This is kind of annoying to install. I'd rather do it with Composer, that sort of thing. I don't need Couchbase, just a couch in my base. But something tells me this is more about me not being rusty with PHP than it is about the documentation. Although it seems like there is some room for improvement here, and it's probably a lot easier for people on Linux and Mac. I'm guessing. I'm just the weird one here. That's my assumption. So is this in the path? I guess I could just check that out. Path. It's not in the path explicitly, so I could just add that to the path. And again, we'll have to close this down. So we learned yesterday. Okay. And source controllers PHP hello Couchbase. Same error message. Specified module could not be found. Guess I'll have to figure this out when I get home. Yeah, Calvin, you got nothing better to do than figure out my PHP problems. Calvin and I are recording a podcast tonight, I think, if we're still on track for that. So if you're interested, come and check out. I would normally hit the SO command here, but definitely check out Calvin A. Allen's Twitch stream tonight. We will be recording the podcast live, so it'll be your chance to get like a sneak preview of it. You're trying to get Docker Compose to spin up 7 containers that talk to each other, and it's getting annoying. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get 2, and it's getting annoying. But I think it's more of a Visual Studio environmental issue. Because this is maybe this is not the way developers feel. Maybe it's just a me thing. But I feel like when people talk about this tool and they're getting it to work and everything's going great for them, and then I can't get it to work, I assume I'm doing something wrong, or I'm a weird one, or I'm not reading something correctly. That's what I assume. Now, of course, the other point of view I have to take is, as a developer, hitting this documentation is, well, how can we make this clearer? How can we make this more foolproof, so that people have a good experience no matter what their level of experience is? Because some of these things may be obvious to people who have years and years of PHP experience, but maybe not. And someone who's brand new, they might be lost here and just walk away with a bad experience. So this is all good. This is all good for me. I mean, it's not great viewing for you, seeing error messages and stuff, but this is all really good information for me as we go through here that we need to do something to improve this. So let me try looking at the latest version of the docs. So I wanted to avoid PHP SDK 3. Can you show the error in the shell again? Yes. So there it is. Unable to load dynamic library, PHP Couchbase DLL. It says it tried this folder. It is there. Specified module cannot be found. Then it tries this weird conversion of it. I don't know why it's doing that. It definitely couldn't find that one. This is the actual package that I downloaded. It contained libcouchbase and PHP Couchbase. I assume PHP Couchbase is a wrapper for that. Take off the extension, Calvin says. Take off the extension in the PHP Ini. Oh, I closed it down. PHP Ini, here we go. I mean, I could do that, but I don't quite see. Yeah, so now it's trying to find it without the extension there, right? And there's definitely not a PHP underscore in there. So, yeah, I don't think that's it. Why is the path written as, yeah, I don't know why it's written as that. I mean, it looks like it's trying to find this one here first, and then it's saying, okay, if I can't find that, let's just put PHP underscore in front and DLL. So maybe if someone did this, maybe they said extension Couchbase, like it would still work. It's like a weird fallback, right? So I put in Couchbase, now it falls back to this if it can't find that. So maybe it's just like some people use it as a shortcut in PHP Ini. I don't know. Either case, it's not finding the file or something. It's not. I don't know. Maybe it's a permissions issue. Let's see. Security. Okay, so users only has read and execute and read. Well, this one. Yeah, it looks to be the same. System has full control. Administrators has full control. Okay, system doesn't have full, or, yeah. Yeah, authenticated users is the same. I don't see the difference there. Okay, that's nasty. Whoa, go back. Go back to what? It's being blocked because it was downloaded. Oh. Oh, right here. Unblock. By gum, Calvin. Oh, that's not it. Unless I did it wrong. Nope. Oh well. Yeah, it was a good guess anyway. Although this one is also has a similar block. That's the C library, I assume. That's wrapping. So, okay, same error. It really doesn't make any sense because that definitely is where the file is. So, I mean, it says unable to load, but it could not be found. Very confusing. Let me just look at these instructions, see if there's anything different. So this is using PECL. But again, that might be. This doesn't really say Windows, Linux, Mac. It just says use PECL. I could try PECL. Couchbase-3. This is a beta version. No releases available. Install failed. Gotta say, this isn't looking good for the old Couchbase docs. But I suspect this is because probably the vast majority of Couchbase PHP users are either on Mac or Linux, and so maybe the docs are fine there, and the Windows just kind of. This would not be surprising to me at all if the Windows docs were neglected, because there are very few people in this company, as far as I can tell, who are actually running Windows. Well, I don't know what else to try here. It's really disappointing because I feel like I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do, putting the extension there. This one says Couchbase.dll. Well, there is no Couchbase.dll. There's libCouchbase and there's PHP Couchbase. Something is definitely off here. Okay, well. Don't know what else to do at this point. I could just probably fiddle with this for another while, but that's not terribly exciting. So maybe we'll just close up shop a little early today, which is fine because while I got you here, I wanted to raid InstaFluff because InstaFluff just recently received the Microsoft MVP award. So I thought we would go over there and congratulate InstaFluff. We're going to go do a quick raid. Just say hi to InstaFluff. Be nice, and if you're a subscriber, use this emoji here, and just sort of copy and paste that, or just copy and paste the part that says congrats on the MVP, raid, etc. All right. Wow, how did he get that? I don't know. He's awesome. I guess that's how he got that. He was nominated by somebody, apparently. I'm guessing a fellow team member. It wasn't me. But anyway, I want to go over and say congratulations to InstaFluff. So we'll close up the shop for today. I'll look into this PHP stuff, and we'll see where we can do next time. But thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you over there at InstaFluff's channel.